Yo, check it. All right, fam, what is up? Look, we got a crazy video for you guys. Things are going to be getting insane for the meme stocks. Not only do we have GameStop earnings, but we have things coming up in play that will shape the future as AMC and GME as we know it. So this video, you definitely want to watch to the end. Plus, we do the market recap at the end, so you want to watch this whole video. This video is not financial advice. Let's not waste any more time and just hop in the charts, facts, data. Let's go. All right, guys, what is up? You are back for another video with Data Zero. In this video, we're looking at AMC, GME, and SPY and cryptocurrency. This is your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice. Please do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock or crypto asset. Now, let's go ahead and hop into AMC and GME. So right now, we're in power hour of AMC and GME. What I want to see AMC do is close above 450. If we can close above 450, we could potentially be finding a bottom around this range because RSI is getting to that oversold territory here on the hourly time frame, 2-hour time frame, and close to it on the 4-hour time frame, sitting at about 32 here on the 4-hour time frame. Anything under 30 is oversold. So we are getting into very oversold territories here for AMC, and the smart buyers will be stepping in at these ranges. Also outside the Bollinger Bands here on some of the smaller time frames. So it is looking like this move to the downside is a very rapid move to the downside that could get a decent bounce back to the upside if we can hold that 450 level as support. Now, if we do not hold 450 as support, I have another price target down at $4.20. But in my personal opinion, I don't think we will be seeing that low. I think we're going to be trying to find a bottom here at 450. And I will be doing the market recap at the end of the video, so watch to the end of the video. But most likely AMC is going to be getting a bounce into close, and we're going to be closing above $4.50 in my personal opinion. So that means that we should be able to hold that level. You can see right now RSI is starting to trend to the upside, and that is giving me indication that we will close above 450 and move into a possible bounce if we can hold that level. So that's what we're looking at for AMC. Now, I just want to point out something here, that there is a potential division for the apes coming into play. There's a yes and a no vote coming into play. I believe that is going to be coming here soon, and I want to make people aware of it. Now, there's a few things that they can do to try to negate the vote. They could sell shares to an institution, aka Goldman Sachs, like they just recently sold 50 million shares to Goldman Sachs, and the institution could vote yes for a reverse split or dilution, or they could do a reverse split and try to negate the vote that way. But there are multiple ways coming up that they could try to negate the vote, and I believe coming up there's going to be a vote for new dilution. Now, why am I saying this? Because the common shares, the shares that they have, basically a pool of shares ready for dilution, is getting low. I don't know the exact amount, but they are getting very, very low on short shares available for dilution. So what they're going to have to do is come to us as shareholders and say, hey, we want to dilute more. Now, what I'm hoping to do is educate people. I know some people get very, very touchy about this subject, but I'm hoping to educate people on why we want no more dilution. Now, they're going to try to fearmonger you and tell you, hey, if we don't dilute, AMC is going to go bankrupt, which is something we've heard time and time and time again. They're also going to tell you that dilution is the only way out of this problem, but really what we could do is reduce costs, trim fat. Even Adam Aaron, just for example, could take a $5 million pay cut because he makes $25 million in salary per year. And again, that's just an example, and some CEOs have been known to do this. But what happens is you keep diluting the float and you keep using the shareholders as a piggy bank, and this is not good for the price. As you can see, shares outstanding from 2020 have grown from 23.63 million to a staggering 375 million shares outstanding. Now, if you go ahead and look at the price on the macro, you can see the price has done the exact opposite as the shares outstanding increase. Why? Because as you increase the supply, it doesn't matter if you have increasing demand, the price will continue to go down. And if you look at OBV, OBV would say that AMC's price should actually be able to continue to the upside. And what you should actually see is more along the price of this white dotted line. Now, we had the reverse split where it dropped OBB down, but that dropped everything down. Even if you look at outstanding shares, you'll see a V-shaped dip. But basically, right before that reverse split and dilution, we were about to have a huge market breaking short squeeze. And we should have seen a bigger push to the upside right before the reverse split. So the price should actually be similar to what you see right here based off of OBV if we weren't seeing all of that dilution. So if you continue increasing the float, what you're doing is making the chance of a short squeeze less and less likely. And not only the chance of a short squeeze, but just price going up in general. You're making it less and less likely because you're diluting your shares. You're diluting your value over and over and over and over again. So this is why I'm trying to educate people. And hopefully when this vote does come into play, because it always seems to come in play right around the time where liquidity starts getting dried up. You can actually see cost to borrow right now starting to move back to the upside. Now, right before the reverse split, we had cost to borrow sitting at huge, insane levels. We had 45 days on the threshold security list because there was no liquidity. They had no shares, and we were about to see a market breaking short squeeze, the likes we have never seen on AMC stock. And AMC stock started to run in after hours right before the reverse split. And then we got the reverse split and it stopped momentum. And you guys know what happened after the reverse split. Cost of borrow got obliterated. Short interest got obliterated, and it instantly went off of the threshold security list, and they covered all of the FTDs because it freed up liquidity, allowed them to get shares, allowed them to cover everything, and they covered some short positions, and they covered all of the FTDs without ever seeing a pop to the upside because it frees up liquidity. And this is simple supply and demand. If you want price to go up, you do not want to keep increasing the supply. So this is why I want, when the vote comes up, again, you must do what you want as a shareholder. Everyone must make their own decisions, but I implore you to please educate yourself and look into why constant dilution using the shareholders as a piggy bank is not a viable method to sustain the stock. And even if they're trying to fearmonger you and saying we're going to go into bankruptcy, that is not true. There are other ways that they could raise money. Again, I'm not telling them to do this, but just for examples, right off the top of my head, you could trim fat, cut cost, start cutting down operational cost, obviously budget, or you could issue more debt. Again, I don't want them to do that, but there are a million other ways to raise capital other than using your shareholders as a piggy bank and at the same time continually devaluing their stock. So if you guys want to see price start to go up because we're getting into that zone where liquidity is starting to dry up again and we could potentially see a movement to the upside, if you guys truly want to see that, then we have to do something different. And we have to start voting no. Again, I was tricked by Adam Aaron when he told us APE was a dividend, and he said that's going to help us out, and I thought it was a dividend, and Adam Aaron straight lied to us. And if that doesn't tell you anything you need to know, that he straight up lied to you, I don't know what will. This is a continued slap in the face. This is insanity, trying the same thing over and over again. It's time to try something different, okay? So when that vote comes up, if we do get a vote, because they're going to need more shares to dilute, they're going to be asking for them because they're going to need another way for short sellers to get out of this problem, which means they need more shares to dilute, which is all of a sudden just coincidentally all coming together right around the time where liquidity is drying up. It's so funny, isn't it? So crazy, right? So when that vote comes, you guys got to figure out what you're going to do and vote yes or no, and I myself will be voting no. Now, you can even see what's happening play out here in real time. You can see that AMC was about to take off. We were going towards that explosive movement point of $6. Then we got rejected to the downside right after we got that dilution news. So you can see it playing out in real time. What happens when you get dilution? We get momentum. Roaring Kitty was tweeting, box office doing well. We're literally going parabolic. Then they announced dilution, and you guys can see what happens in real time. So we don't want this anymore. All right, we don't want this anymore. Now, As far as price action is concerned, I do think AMC is going to be able to try to hold that 450 level. I'll give you guys the recap here at the end of it. And as far as GameStop is concerned, GameStop had a beautiful push to the upside here, trying to get towards $30. They are shorting it down, fighting tooth and nail, because they don't want GameStop at $30, but GameStop potentially is forming a recovery, but they keep trying to short us down. What you want to see GameStop do is get back above $29.25. If we can get back above that level, that's going to be the last major support and resistance before that $30 level, and if we can get back above 30, you're going to see a decent push to the upside here for GameStop. GameStop potentially going on its 7th green week in a row. Now, seeing some pullback and consolidation right now is fine, but GameStop is still back in the game, and if GameStop can get back over 30, that can help AMC get some momentum as well. So we are hoping and praying AMC can get back over that $30 level. We still have this overall falling wedge in play, but again, they are shorting this thing heavily. I don't see any other technical patterns here on the macro as far as like head and shoulders bearish or bullish. We do have this overall uptrend here on the 4-hour time frame. And again, we are holding it, but basically we're trying to see if we can get above that $30 level. GameStop has earnings tomorrow, okay? GameStop has earnings tomorrow and after hours. Be ready. We want to see some type of guidance from the CEO, Ryan Cohen. We want to see some type of plan. I heard some people talking about possibly putting Bitcoin in the balance sheet. That would be absolutely huge. We do have the things going on with PSA, and I actually heard people that deal with cards talk good things about GameStop's PSA as far as convenience and stuff like that. So we are looking good as far as that is concerned, and GameStop sitting on a huge pile of cash. So we want to see what goes on, but obviously the meme stocks are insane, and they always attack it on earnings, so we want to see what happens. But we do have Roaring Kitty tweeting. We have momentum building, and guys, we're getting into that point where things are going to get crazy for the meme stocks again. We're about to get those crazy views, crazy spikes, huge volatility swings. Like, things are about to get crazy, like right before the reverse split. So we're getting to that point where shorts are getting their back against the wall again, and they're looking for a way out, and they're getting desperate. That's why you're going to get the yes vote and no vote on AMC. That's why you're going to see crazy attacks here on the meme stocks, and you're going to see big swings. So be prepared for massive volatility here on the meme stocks. So just be prepared for earnings tomorrow. Be ready for anything. We want to try to get over $30. If we can get a run, that would be great, but most likely they're going to short us and try to attack us down. If we do have downside targets for GME, just to give you guys some preparedness and support, resistance levels will be 27.93, 27.25, and 25.67. So some downside targets for GME, major support resistance levels that we would like to hold. And if we did come down, we would retest those and probably get a bounce around those ranges. So that's what I'm looking at for GME. Check out the market recap at the end of the video for anything after close. I'm going to go ahead and move into SPY and BTC and then wrap up this video. So SPY moving to the downside as expected. Okay, we talked about that gap fill on yesterday's video. The gap is not totally filled just yet. There is still a tiny bit of gap left here at the exact prices of 604.31 to 604.26. But as of right now, RSI is so low on SPY that SPY most likely is going to get a bounce. But I believe that we're going to see overall downside for SPY. But most likely tomorrow, we're going to see some recovery. And then possibly into Wednesday, we would see more downside. We have to be ready because inflation is coming out. And it looks like, due to the forecast and consensus, it's going to be coming out hotter than expected, which would be bearish. This is going to be happening on Wednesday, and then we also have PPI on Thursday. Keep an eye on 8:30 on Wednesday to see a pop to the upside if unemployment comes out low. If unemployment comes out high as expected, expect a drop to the downside, and that's why I think we could see a continuation down possibly Wednesday after some recovery here on Tuesday. But you want to watch carefully. If SPY loses the levels of 604 even, that's going to confirm more downside for SPY. And if SPY is able to break back above 606.19, that would confirm a recovery
for SPY. But overall, I think we're going to be seeing downside movement. You can see that NVIDIA actually had an antitrust probe from China, which is weighing heavily on the market. That's some news I reported on earlier. So that's definitely weighing on the market. NVIDIA is one of the major market movers, so this is something you want to watch very, very carefully. And NVIDIA is down because of that. Getting some recovery right now, and I'm expecting to see some probably into tomorrow, but we could definitely see more downside, as I'm thinking we're going to see an overall red week. You can see we're breaking down on this rising wedge here on NVIDIA, and it's looking pretty bearish in my personal opinion. Quickly looking here at Apple. Apple did get a spike up again. When NVIDIA goes down, they want to try to push Apple up. Some people will say I'm crazy for saying stocks are manipulated, but I believe that stocks do get manipulated to try to keep the market at a sustainable level so it doesn't see just a crash. Because if Apple was dumping right now on top of NVIDIA, you would see a move down. Apple got this big push to the upside, retesting this overall sloping support and resistance, not breaking above it. So that means that we could see a rejection here. RSI starting to get to that overbought territory, also telling me we could possibly see a rejection. If Apple starts to pull back with NVIDIA, that would be a problem. So again, I think we're going to see an overall red week for SPY and a continuation to the downside, but we could see some recovery tomorrow. Watch for those key levels to confirm up or downside. Also, I just want to point out quickly as well, VIX is elevated and the dollar is escalating as well. When the dollar goes up, the market tends to go down, and when the VIX goes up, the market tends to go down. That's also going to be weighing on Bitcoin, the dollar going up, and let's move into Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin getting a pullback. I think we're actually going to come down to possibly towards 65K here for BTC. If we go ahead and check out the RSI right now on some of the bigger time frames, it's not yet oversold on the 4-hour, on the 1-hour, or 2-hour. So we could definitely still have some more downside for BTC. But if we did have a pullback, this is, again, not financial advice. I'm just some guy on the internet, do your own research. But I think we would see a pop back to the upside. I think Bitcoin is bullish. I think we're in an overall uptrend. I think that's very, very clear. Just go ahead and pop on the alligator and then zoom out. I think it's very, very clear that we're in an uptrend with a ton of momentum, and it will take a lot more than a small pullback to stop BTC from what we're going to see. And of course, we have 2025 coming up with a bullish crypto president and possibly a bullish SEC. So I think crypto still has a lot of room to run, in my personal opinion. And I don't think we've seen the altcoin season that we're expected to see yet either. So right now, you're seeing cryptocurrency pull back. It is not altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance is still very, very high. So once Bitcoin pulls back, altcoins are going to pull back as well. So if you are in crypto right now, I would not be freaking out if you are feeling a little bit jittery. Obviously, if you are up massively in profits, you do want to take some risk off the table potentially. But me personally, I'm holding and not doing anything with my positions. Ethereum pulling back to that overall macro accumulation, which is something I talked about in yesterday's video. If we can stay outside of this wedge or get a bounce around this level of 3,700, then you could see Ethereum actually start to move to break out towards the upside, towards higher levels like 4,800 or 5,000. If we can get a bounce off of this wedge. I talked about coming back down for the retest of this macro accumulation. So if we can get a bounce, you could see a move up. But if we have to pull back, then you would see more like my prediction here, where it takes more time. It has to consolidate before making a move to the upside, which is what I think we could see for Ethereum. XRP also had a pullback as well after a recent announcement. I don't think anything's to be worried about right now. Again, Bitcoin pulling back is going to have a general pullback with the altcoins. I think crypto dips are for buying, in my personal opinion, as crypto is in an overall bull run. So this is what I'm looking at for BTC, crypto, in the overall market. If you guys watch to this point, I truly appreciate you guys. And of course, this video is not financial advice. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button to help support the channel. And we're about to go into the market recap for after hours, and I appreciate you. What is up? We're here for the market recap, end of the day, after hours, whatever you want to call it. So you can see that GameStop came down to $27.93 into close. This was one of the levels that I talked about as major support and resistance. RSI is at that oversold territory, starting to get there now here on some of the smaller time frames. 15-minute time frame, you can see here we're oversold. So potentially could see a bounce here for GameStop, but prepare because earnings is tomorrow in after hours, and they are going to want to attack us. I believe GameStop saw a pullback because the same algorithm as AMC, and it started to drag on it heavy. Plus, they were shorting on it a lot. At time of recording right now, we have 1.1 million short shares for GME, and at time of recording we have 500,000 for AMC. GameStop looking like it's trying to hold that key level of 27.92 as support. So we're going to probably see a bounce off of that level in my personal opinion, and that's what we want to see as GameStop bulls. We want to see a push off of that level, holding it in the morning and getting a bounce back towards $29. So that's what we're looking at for GameStop. AMC did indeed close at $4.50 as expected. Remember, guys, we got that vote coming up potentially. Again, nothing is officially on the table. I want to make that very, very clear. But I believe it will be on the table soon as they're running out of dilutive shares. Right now, we're seeing a little bit push up in after hours for the meme stocks. They probably will dump some shares down to make it consolidate. But I think AMC is going to be able to hold $4.50 based off what I'm seeing here. And then we will see a bounce to the upside in the morning. And as AMC bulls, that's what we want to see. Now, of course, if we did move up in after hours away from $4.50, that would be very, very good for us. And it looks like we could potentially get some bounce off of these two key levels for the meme stocks. But most likely they will dump short shares to try to make us consolidate, and we'll open up around these levels in the morning. If we did get a after hour bounce, that would be bullish. Remember, GameStop earnings tomorrow. Things are going to be insane. SPY did come down and fill the gap completely. SPY RSI is getting oversold, so I do think SPY will be getting a bounce in my personal opinion. If you want another level to confirm if SPY will be going up or down, you can use the level of 604.70. We'll say 604.70. If you can use that as support, you could see a recovery here for SPY. RSI extremely oversold. I'm betting we'll see a bounce most likely tomorrow, and then maybe a continuation down. And like, you'll probably see what you'll see is a push to the upside. Maybe a continuation down in power hour, but it might take to, maybe Wednesday or later once we get that inflation data. So that's what I'm looking at for SPY. And Bitcoin did indeed come down to 95,000. RSI starting to get to that oversold territory here in the hourly time frame. So soon we'll get to those points where Bitcoin is getting to that very good buy zone, in my personal opinion. I don't think we're going to be going lower than 90,000 in my personal opinion. If Bitcoin did dip under 90,000, that would be a very good buying opportunity. But I think 90,000 would be where we'd find support, maybe even as low as 92,300. So that's what we're looking at for BTC, SPY, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, in your market recap. If you found this video informative, go ahead and drop a like, press subscribe for more content like this. And if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can drop a super chat or check out the merch store comment section link below. I also have a Discord I sell as well, which is a market support group. It's $75 for a lifetime invite. I give out exclusive technicals and this exclusive community as well. If you want to get involved in that, hit me up in my email, data0official5. I'll give you payment information. Once payment is made, I'll send you the link to get in. And my email and all of that stuff is linked down below. And I appreciate you guys. If you want to support for absolutely free, just hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace.
All right, y'all, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. Press subscribe for more content like this. I appreciate y'all if you watch the end of the video, because so few people watch the end. And remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more Data Zero updates. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace.